So I did want to say a few things about energy transition, and I think the best way of saying a few things about energy transition is about bringing my own experience here. I would like to share that one with you. I would like to share also some of my ideas in regards to energy transition and where we are going. And some of the ideas that I'm bringing, I'm really glad that I saw some of them also being circulating recently, so that makes me happy. And obviously, I would also like to briefly talk about the overall proposition of SAP to the utilities industry. And then, of course, I would also like to say a few things about I would say, the significant announcement that we have done for this conference, a press release that we sent out on Monday afternoon, exactly announcing a quite big initiative from SAP, so-called SAP Cloud for Utilities Suite, that I would like also to say a few things about that to you here. Okay? So, overall, I will talk about these two things that I think they can combine very well. One is, on one side, energy transition, something that has been widely discussed so far. And I would also talk about the cloud transition, which is also something that I think we have a quite unique proposition there for our customers and the entire market to consider there. Okay, let's start with this one, which is my own case on energy transition. So, despite I've been talking about energy transition since quite some time, only recently I really got my hands on energy transition when I decided to invest on my own solar panels, on my own battery, and on my own inverter. So this went live last June. Since June, I'm a prosumer now. So I've been talking about prosumers for a long time, but finally it looks like I finally know what it is, right? I had this experience. Well, one of the reasons why I only did it this year, and I think this can be also relevant for many of you, is that I do live in an apartment. So therefore, it took me some time to tell my neighbors that, I would invade the common roof that we have, right, with my own solar panels, right? And I have full respect for their concerns. And obviously, I need to thank, I don't know if any of my neighbors is around here, but I would like to thank them, right, for, in the end, allowing me to put my solar panels. And obviously, this will something that any other neighbor will now be able to do it. So I did install this one. Immediately, I had, how would I call it, not a smart meter, but an intelligent meter or a meter sensor that gives me all my consumption, right, in feed, all what I'm producing in my solar panel, how much I'm giving back to the grid. By the way, I have no subsidies, and I have absolutely no feed-in tariff also in place in my country. And I also have, by the way, a quite good insight from the application for my utility to complement the one that I got from the manufacturer of the inverter, where I can see in detail my actual consumption, right? So with these things, and given that I started only in June, but I do have already a quite good idea about how much I'm getting in return of this investment. I'm getting 40% energy savings overall. And by the way, it's not only abstract energy savings, this is green energy, right? Carbon-free that I'm generating. And I'm calculating that I will get around a 12% return of this investment on a battery, on an inverter, and 6 solar panels. No subsidies, no feed-in tariff. So please, anyone that can tell me, who of you has 12% return on investment nowadays with this type of security, right? Of course, there might be a hurricane. Of course, many things can happen, but I would say this is a quite safe type of investment. So I bring this up here because, I mean, as we are talking so much about energy transition, this, I think, is really disruptive, right? This is really disruptive. This is what will really change the landscape there. It's any individual, any one of us, right, as long as you have good relations with your neighbors for sure, but any one of us can do this investment and you get 12% return. And you are, by the way, environmentally friendly, right? So that is, I think, a great story. And I think we should, all of us, expect this to explode, right? And of course, I could bring here now all the statistics and latest numbers. I mean, one that I'm using recurrently is this tender in California just in July. 25 years contract, less than 2 cents per kilowatt hour on power, and you have 1.3 cents per kilowatt hour, and you have also storage combined. So 3.3 cents. So this is what we are playing now, right? Obviously only in a few geographies for sure, but this is absolutely disruptive. And when we are talking about energy transition, I think that we need absolutely to be aware of this. right? The other thing that I guess, every one of us is aware is obviously that the model is changing. Utilities in particular will not make so much value or extract so much value of energy anymore. We have seen the previous example. We are going to near zero marginal costs over there. So obviously this is a big change. Utilities will start taking value out of something else, right? What is that something else? Well, many people have been talking in this conference about data. We are recurrently talking about data. Data is the new oil. I think we know all of that. But I mean, to be honest, when I hear talking about data, I mean, data is in many ways is like raw food, right? It's raw food. You don't eat raw food, do you, right? So you need something more, right, to make it kind of a meal out of that. So for a moment of time, I was saying, well, it's not data, it's information, right? Because information is really the thing that gives you the meaning, right? So it's like going from raw food to cooked food. Oh, okay. But don't forget, right, if you have the cooked food in front of you, ready to be consumed, you are not getting food yet. So you need to do something, right? And therefore, I think it's not about data, it's not about information, it's about something else. It's about taking action. What does it mean taking action nowadays? Most of the times, it will mean that you will do service, right? You will develop service propositions. You will start servicing your assets. There are all kinds of dimensions that you will start introducing there, which are absolutely fundamental for the new business models of the energy transition, right? Being very, very strong on your service propositions, whether it is energy as a service, e-mobility, whatsoever, right? And then, of course, associated with service, and this links also pretty much with our proposition from SAP side, it's not only service, it's service and experience, right? So we need always to monitor what is the actual experience that we are providing with the services that we are developing. And if we have good services and bad experience, that is not good. Eventually, sometimes it's good to have, not so good service, but a great experience, right? And then we are developing a very profitable business model. So these are the things that I think we need to have in mind in the context of energy transition, and I think those are very important, right? This transition to a service-oriented type of proposition. And then, of course, I mean, this is just a summary of the many things that we have observed, from centralized, decentralized. We will need to absolutely cope with this change from different market roles, and then, right, we need to have an eye on the multiple areas of investment from customers. So we said it already, energy management, I showed my case. Well, obviously storage, I also have storage nowadays. I have also power generation at home. By the way, I will have an electrical vehicle very soon, so I also took that decision. Well, obviously, so connectivity and security is a big topic over there, and we would look forward, to take advantage of smart appliances, comfort, lighting, and also heating and cooling, right? And putting all this in the proper context. By the way, I do this already in a while, right? Because I do have, with my utility application, I can already turn on and turn off appliances. I have a water heater, and this also works a bit as I would say, a storage device, right? I play a bit with that, but of course, nothing of that is automated. I'm just sometimes in the middle of these meetings, I'm starting to put on and off some things, right, to optimize my energy consumption there. So, what is the paradigm shift that we observe, right? What is the paradigm shift that we observe here? I would say that, we are going very much, utilities are going from a control type of mode to a coordination mode, right? So this is, I think, something that I think resonates very well with the topic of energy transition, right? So what you need to do, and utilities are really the champions of energy transition, for sure. They will not anymore have so much control as in the past. They will start coordinating. And that coordination is fundamental for the energy transition to be successful. Now, the other thing, right, is obviously you are also moving away from a very structured type of approach, business approach that you had, to something that needs to be much, much more agile. You need to develop new service propositions, you need to facilitate communities, you need to orchestrate ecosystems. So it's a combination of things, right, that really brings, I think, as two fundamental words, right, agility, coordination, and by the way, also something that I'm already anticipating here, right, something that indeed you do a bit more on a cloud-based paradigm versus the on-premise one. Therefore, one idea, right, that I would like to bring here is that what we observe nowadays, right, is that basically we are making a transition. We have seen the energy transition. Also on the IT side, we can observe that there is a transition, right? Many times from on-premise type of systems, on our own data centers, we are going now to the cloud, right? Now, when we go to the cloud, eventually it's not just about turning off one thing and turning on the other. I think it's really about doing a transition, leveraging the assets that you have. Some of them you will want to keep them, some others not, and start leveraging all this agility, coordination, flexibility that you would get out of the cloud solutions. And basically this is what SAP is bringing to the table here, right? We bring many solutions on the cloud that you can put forward to run utility-specific processes, and you can do that either standalone or in conjunction with on-premise type of systems that you have. And then, of course, one question arises, either you do this on your own, this transition and integration, and this tends to be obviously something where you need to invest significantly sometimes to keep the integration going on, or eventually, of course, you can take advantage of what ends up to be the unique SAP proposition, which is SAP taking care of the integration between both worlds and also within, right, the cloud solutions that we are putting forward and the on-premise type of systems that we have traditionally, right? So, and in the end, I think, that is also something that I say in SAP, we always need to come up with an integrated type of proposition. There is always that expectation towards SAP, and obviously we need also to stay faithful to this type of DNA that we have, and this is exactly what we have been working on. So how do we work on this? Well, there is something that we have put forward, I think, a bit more than 1 year ago, something that I like very much. It's the so-called intelligent enterprise proposition for utilities in particular. And this obviously relies on different components there, right? So what are these components? Well, an intelligent suite supporting a quite unique and extend set of business processes that we support across all lines of business, utility-specific, sometimes more corporate. We bring now together an experience management suite to take care exactly of this dimension of capturing the experience that you are providing in front of all your relevant stakeholders. And it's really not only about customers, it's about your vendors, it's about your workforce. So it's really about the main stakeholders that you need to handle. And obviously, right, then bringing all this together in a digital platform that will provide the capabilities to innovate, to differentiate, and to really cope with the agility that you need to have in face of the energy transition world, right? So this is, in a way, it's a summary of that intelligent enterprise proposition that we have, leveraging a platform. And then here, for the ones that maybe were here before in my panel, then I always like to highlight a few fundamental dimensions that we put forward in this intelligent enterprise proposition. So assisted and automated execution of business processes, right? With several technologies, can be bot technologies, can be machine learning, can be, different things. And this is really a key element of that intelligent enterprise. Another key element is the insights and the analytics that you have out of your business. And another key element there combined is the agility for you to develop your own differentiators, right, in an innovative type of platform that you have there in the middle. And then you have the experience, right, on the left. Fundamental, right? You need always to be able to capture the experience in front of your main stakeholders. And the final thing that I always like to add here is the collaborative dimension. You need to do business processes in a collaborative way, right? So it's very important to do this dimension, in particular, in the world of energy transition, where we have so many different stakeholders, so many partners that will be the ones that will drive forward with energy transition overall. Okay, final statements there, just to say a few things exactly about the announcement that we are bringing to this conference. Many of you might have seen many clouds that we are having in the air in our SAP stand over there. So the reason is effectively that we are announcing, we did it, as I said before, this Monday, our Cloud for Utilities suite. So it's an integrated suite on the cloud that will cover all the business processes of the utilities industry. right? It will serve multiple market roles. We will start focusing on retail and B2C first. We will also look at water companies, distributors, gas, etc. But of course, overall, I think what you can expect here is an integrated suite, right? With multiple components, leveraging S/4HANA Cloud, our multi-tenant edition of our suite over there, with definitely key utilities components that we have there that look after asset management, that look after energy insights, that look after market communication, and obviously that take care of the full customer experience, right? So this is another very important dimension. And the way that we are putting this forward is as a complement, right? Or as a possible complement to our on-premise offering, right? So that, you know, different customers, depending on their situations, their business, the geography, the jurisdiction, regulations that they need to cope, they will be deciding on moving on with an on-premise type of solution, with cloud, or with both at the same time. And therefore, I think there is definitely an interesting parallel that we can provide between energy transition and also the transition that we are having in terms of providing that transition from an on-premise type of environments to the cloud. And this is, in summary, what is our offering here, that is illustrated here, where we try to highlight many components that we will be taking care of integrating end-to-end so that we support the end-to-end processes there. And of course, this will, you know, have a future, right? Which is maybe one day, of course, some of our customers, many of our customers will not be consuming on-premise type of solutions, but if they do, they're absolutely fine, because this is definitely also staying close to the latest state-of-the-art technology solutions. And by the way, we have just released machine learning type of algorithms on our on-premise solution to take care of billings, meter readings, outsorting, and things like that. So that is definitely a key advantage that and a key type of investment that we are doing also on our on-premise world. Finally, maybe a word on the announcement that we have done. So this has been an announcement last Monday that we have put forward exactly around cloud for utilities, exactly about the fact that SAP and Accenture are having this co-development agreement in place. So we are joining forces because we want to move very fast. We want to have customers live already next year with a kind of hybrid architecture and approach, and in the following year we want to have first customers fully on cloud, on a public cloud and multi-tenant edition type of solution, covering utility-specific processes end-to-end, right? So, and there I also have it highlighted here in the slide. This cloud solution will be looking at fundamental aspects of the energy proposition. One are the energy insights, right? The other is end-to-end business process execution. And the final one that I have here, as I stated, very, very important, market collaboration, market communication in liberalized markets. That is a fundamental dimension that we have to cope with, and by the way, on which we expect to have first customers live this year already, just on the market communication and the cloud solution. Okay, so final words to say, just follow the steps that you find in the floor. Come and visit us at the SAP stand. You are very much welcome to have discussions around cloud for utilities, around on-premise, around the many solutions that we have developed over the years for utilities. This is a unique opportunity because we do have most of our experts around us today, so please do take advantage of that also tomorrow and come and visit us. That would be a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Miguel. Is there any question in the audience? What do I need to do to motivate you to interact a little with us?
I can explain how to handle neighbors, if that is a question that you'd be interested in.
By the way, when will your system be hooked up to the SAP cloud?
Yeah, that's a good question. I hope very soon, right? Because one of the applications there, I would expect that we can link that to an SAP cloud type of solution. Because we do have cloud for energy that can receive all these inputs and information and put it in a repository and show, you know, quite the similar KPIs as the ones that I was showing on the screen here.
Okay, thank you. And on the other hand, there might also be an opportunity to link with Anna and kind of start to implement an intelligent agent that's trading your power with your neighbors so that you make even more return.
No, absolutely. I look forward, right, to sell some energy also to my neighbors.
Okay, thank you. Any question? Thank you very much. It was very
Thank you.
interesting.
Thank you very much.